If editing has ever stopped you from hitting record, that ends today. Because great video doesn't start with what you add in, it starts with a cut. No, this isn't another AI hype reel. It's waveform cut automation for cuts 20 times the accuracy of transcripts and watchable video at the speed of conversation. Think of TimeBolt as a video editor that turns on and off simply by when you talk. What's green is kept, red is what's cut, silence is skipped in preview like it never even happened. Unmatched is our AI hybrid transcription technology to catch filler words and repeats. It's the only software you can add any unique word, tick, or phrase. So if you're the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F Now, there are two you. Valentine's Day, I love you every day. Or my personal favorite, F around and find out. You write the script, we cut it. Overlaid with our waveform cut technology, catch 50% more filler than edit by text software. Transcripts guess, TimeBolt doesn't. If you record video for work or YouTube and want to skip everything that makes editing suck, I will show you how to go from record to publish watchable video at unbeatable one-to-one edit to record efficiency. And yes, this entire video you're watching was made only in TimeBolt, a lightweight software for your computer that is a Swiss Army knife of video communication workflows. In this course, I will show you how to record, run automations and cut with a keystroke, enhance what you keep, export XML or render a finished video, plus how to stitch multiple videos into one and get an accurate SRT file for your final video with Unmatched. Let's dive into the software. Well, if you're looking for a reason to record your webcam and screen with TimeBolt, we certainly have a few. First, you're going to enable permissions as usual, okay? Next, you're going to click this camera icon. The capture controller then pops up where you can, on Mac, choose between high quality and standard quick and small if you're going to do something like send a banger video message versus in HD for YouTube. I can drag and resize my thumbnail vertical, horizontal, really cool, make it a little small thumbnail. And while I'm actually recording, I can then switch cameras midstream. How cool is that? Yeah. I can go full screen, stop talking, then go back to half screen, and it's like you just switch scenes. I actually do switch scenes by swiping in between my desktop. I will record a video with a more complex tutorial about how I record video for TimeBolt, but for right now, this is very simple to do, but there are unique features to our TimeBolt capture that I did want to let you know about. So once you're done recording, hit stop recording. You're going to name your file, and it's going to ask if you want to auto push into TimeBolt. Regardless if you do, a copy of the raw source file will be saved to your computer, and you can actually capture and record for free. No watermark. First thing you're going to want to do is drop your video in. Pay attention to these warnings. If you get a low volume detected warning, go into settings, click audio normalization, noise reduction, and volume increase, and then you're going to restart the app. Your file will automatically reload inside TimeBolt. And it's important to note the audio is going to sound off in preview only. It's just so that TimeBolt could more definitively read the waveforms so it results in more accurate cuts. It will not impact the final output. Now, if you drop your first file in and you get a variable frame rate warning, pay attention to it, okay? You're going to click yes to convert to constant frame rate. It's going to re-encode this as a constant frame rate file. Next time you record, just make sure to record in constant frame rate. And this just makes editing easier through preview chunks. Now, if your file is over 45 minutes, TimeBolt separates this out into preview chunks. You access different chunks here. That just makes previewing and editing easier. It still outputs as a single file. I'm not going to get into an entire tutorial about what the settings do, but if you want to capture more or less audio, do not use left to right padding. Okay, you are going to use the filter below and test anywhere between -30 to -42 dB. This is already capturing audio perfectly, but you would change it. Click Update Silence Detection Settings for them to take effect, and that's what allows you to capture more or less audio. If you have any questions, click these question marks. A video pops up, it'll tell you exactly what the feature does, but we do suggest you leave left padding at 0.01 and right padding at 0.15. If you get stuck, click to reset default values. Now, as you're scrolling through the timeline and you see random audio like this, you're like, that's actual audio, why is it cut? That's because of this setting, ignore detection shorter than, that cuts random mic noise, coughs, mic strikes. It works incredibly well. Leave it at 0.75. You can always go back and click inside and see what it actually is. If your video is unscripted, run Unmatched. Click Start Audio Transcription. Your first 3 are free. Unmatched is our hybrid transcription technology to remove ums, ahs, filler words, and repeats. I always click Run False Start Detection. You get a lot of stutters. You say things twice often. with unscripted video. And as you can see, it found almost 1,000 filler words, ums and ahs, and 515 repeated words. It typically takes up 10% of a timeline. You can type in any unique word ticker phrase. TimeBolt's the only software that you can do that. I click turn off selected words. We overlay the transcript with our waveform cut technology. And in 3 clicks, 85% of all this material is cut for you. You want to get these automations run and done and out of the way before you fine tune. Good news is you don't have ends of words cut off. You don't get sloppy start to cuts. Now for fun, if you just want to hear the filler that you cut, I boosted silence detection to 90 seconds so no silence is actually detected. I go up here, click flip timeline, and I'm going to hit spacebar, and all I'm going to hear is all the stuff that I won't be judged on when people listen to it back. Absolutely beautiful. Now by running uncheck, I can actually see how many words per minute and time cut. The output is short of our 25 minutes and 16 seconds. And so this has allowed me to boost my words per minute from 158 to a fully caffeinated 199. Uncheck is pay per use. You get 3 free trials. You get multi-language is supported. It's the most accurate transcripts money can buy. It's 50 cents for every 10 minutes of video processed. It's a worthwhile investment. You've learned how to record, run automations, and now let's fine-tune cuts with keys USOB. No, I'm not calling you that. First thing I do is I put preview at 1.5x speed. This way when I click the spacebar, I'm going to be previewing at 1.5x
how to make watchable
speed.
shorts faster than every software.
There is absolutely no reason to be editing inside TimeBolt at 1x speed. You're just hitting the spacebar. 1.5, hit the spacebar, trust me.
Software you know.
Now, when you're previewing, it may be up to a minute or two until you're warmed up and you get your first cut. Okay, when you find that point, click Shift plus B, and it back cuts everything up to this point in the playhead. Sure, you can go in here and turn scenes on or off by clicking this bar above the playhead, but don't do that. You will be going entirely too slow. A literal light bulb will go off in your head once you start pressing the keys USOB. As I go through and preview, I'm gonna hit U to unwind, to go back 3 spaces to hear what I actually am keeping.
You're about to learn how to make
U is unwind, go back 3 spaces.
stuck in an endless loop. Stuck
So as I'm
in an
going
endless
through,
loop.
if I wanna create a split in the playhead, I click S, that creates a split. Now that's US for U unwind, S for split. O turns the existing scene off. So watch what happens here. I hit O, boom, it shut that scene off. I can play, I don't even have to stop the playhead and click O to turn off large swaths of content this way.
In an endless loop. The waveform.
Boom. The O key turns scenes off. And now just as awesome as the O button is the B for back cut, okay? As you're previewing and you don't like what you heard,
The waveform is forever.
And TimeBolt doesn't guess the scene you just watched. And when you're dealing with scripted video, the hold key is a game changer. I press H on my last good take.
For a 20 times.
And as I preview through, this may be the next good take that I want to have. I don't want to have to remember where my last good take was, so it was being held. I hit Shift plus B. It back cuts all the way to the last held position, okay? And so now, while you're not gonna have to scroll back like that, but now while my cursor is on this becomes my new last best take, and I hold that. Go here and find a list of all keyboard shortcuts inside TimeBolt. You don't have to click with the mouse. When you start editing by key, you will truly understand the power of TimeBolt. As I'm going through, ginsuing up the timeline with quick keys, on the first pass, I enhance what I keep with punch in and zoom. I can type custom YouTube chapters, fast forward, and markers. The expectation is I watch it once and I edit on the first pass. When I want to draw the eye in, I can punch in, zoom around, show people where to focus.
Shorts faster than you're about to learn.
And it skips between jump cuts the punch-in values. There's also logic built into our punch-in values. I can click P again, and as you can see, it remembers the previous punch coordinates, so you don't have to go back and forth, and you can do this on the fly.
Faster than every software you know.
Of course, the slow option would be to go right-click and then punch in your zoom coordinates and tell it exactly where to go. Or what's faster and the easiest, and you can do on the fly, is hit the P key, and then to move focus area, you hit Alt or Option and the arrow keys. Click P 3 times and it resets. Now, if an area is out of focus or not centered, say for instance, my head here, you can alter the punch-in values, the zoom amounts. You do that by going into settings and changing the default zoom variables here. And you'll often have to do this with talking head video where just you need to recenter up your face in the middle of the screen. As I hear new topics, I right-click and type custom chapter names. You can see the chapters and what is called by hovering over this star, and to delete it, you right-click and you just delete the text. And the cool thing is when we go to export these chapters, these custom chapters, simply copy and paste right into the description of YouTube. This alone will save you the time of having to watch your video again. You can fast forward silences up to 4x speed. And let's say where order of clicks matters, okay, you could say any silence less than 2 seconds long, I want you to speed it up by 4x. You just see it, but you just see it 4 times faster. You can see the playhead turns to orange. You can also manually turn playhead to orange, which signifies it will also be fast forward. For example, you may have seen my dog video playing up top. I go ahead and sometimes actually slow time down by putting fast forward at 0.5 when he goes up to catch the frisbee to get that slow-mo dramatic effect. And finally, if you're a pro YouTuber and want to pick out the best scenes for shorts, okay, and you want to send them out to a contractor, you click the M key. Okay, M, it adds a marker. Imagine a marker as the best scenes that you're gonna cut out from a longer video for shorts. As I go through the timeline and I hear something important, I'm going to click the M key. That puts another marker there. Do this over and over and over. You can see the output duration, the mark duration adding up right here at 8 seconds. So you can keep track of how much time is going to be in a short. To remove a marker, I simply press M. Now, once I've marked my key scenes to combine, I can actually combine all these markers by clicking Keep Only Mark Cuts. I hit Shift down to get to my first marker.
Trimming video on a phone.
And now only the markers are combined into a single video. To remove a marker though, I can't just unselect it here, okay? Don't do this. You're gonna have to hit Command Z to back out of Keep Only Mark Cuts, click the marker, click M to remove the marker, and now do another Keep Only Mark Cuts to recombine just your markers. If you're gonna export out of TimeBolt to add design, the punch, fast forward, and markers do export XML and with our native integrations for DaVinci Resolve and Adobe Premiere. By the time I hit the end of my timeline, I'm done editing. And so what I'll do is I'll just go back and do a final preview. We're rounding third, coming into home base. It's time to save and export. To save, I'm gonna click the save icon. It saves in the same folder as my main source file. A JSON is just a simple blueprint of cuts in a text file. You can find the file path where it was saved simply by clicking here. Get back to your render queue by clicking here. And again, this shows you where the file path is and we'll open up the exact file location. Now, if I were to reload a project, which I can't do technically because I am recording right now with TimeBolt, but you would add the raw source file back into TimeBolt, okay? And then you would go in and click Apply Timeline Cuts and simply find where your JSON file is located, double click it, and the cuts are applied. Now, if you do try and just open up a JSON, it's going to say, the select source file and video file, it's not, you have to actually put in the source file, not the JSON file. It will not read the file. You will think that your file's disappeared, but again, the JSON is simply the cut instructions that you put atop your main source file. Next, how I export depends, is my audience broad or narrow? Path 1 is no design, it's ready to go. If it's just a quick update at work, internal presentations, or one-to-one video messaging, watchable is all I need. But even when I make this video, I'll have to stitch together 8 different video segments that I combine into the video that you're watching now, but I stitch it together and export just once. This saves a ton of processing time. Stitch really makes it so you don't have to open up other software to make watchable video. I'll get back to Stitch and how easy it is in a bit. The second path, you're gonna add design yourself, DIY. You wanna add some B-roll, maybe some graphics to add depth. Now, you're not gonna see a bunch of whiz-bang with export because every project that I start now in Final Cut Pro is start with a fully cut timeline. I simply hit Export FCP XML, click Open with Final Cut Pro. Now I simply double click that file, open with Final Cut Pro, and my cuts are now saved. I have full drag handle control. I can reorder, add the effects. It's a beautiful thing to be able to open up your timeline with all of your cuts already made, quick to add transition and drop in design elements. Time for you to fall in love with design again. Even if you're a bigger YouTuber and pay a design team, you have the time to now control what's cut or kept. You save a simple 56 kilobit XML file, you share that XML file with your source video, okay, with your designer. This eliminates a boatload of back and forth. For now, to export, just look at this chart. If it's a single video file, use XML, it is best. For how to export, look at this chart. If it's a single video file, use XML, it is best. If you have multiple camera angles or need to sync to a master audio source, you use one of our native integrations for Resolve or Adobe Premiere. For a masterclass on how to export, go to TimeBolt's YouTube channel. Okay, you're gonna find links to native integrations and how to do more complex workflows with the main NLEs. But for a fast, all-in-one solution, no design scenario, right now we're gonna export right in TimeBolt. If it's unscripted video, I'm definitely putting on turbo mode. Who doesn't wanna talk 12% faster and not sound like a chipmunk? Now, what turbo mode does, it allows me to go from a snooze test, 170 words per minute, to a fully caffeinated 233. I do find that for scripted video, when you're not looking for what words to use next, just retakes, you don't need turbo. All right, we're about to throw this in Stitch and hit publish. Okay, so with these more complex workflow cases where I'm recording multiple video segments, I'm gonna go ahead and open Stitch. The benefit of Stitch is you can combine multiple videos into one and only export once. So check this out, I just grabbed my 8 videos. These are the raw source files, automatically drops them in. I wanna check the order. To do so, I hit this little play button here and I can see the name of the file. This is actually video 2. This is video 1. You can reorder. I go through, make sure that all my videos are in order. Video 8. At this time now, I want to go through and apply my timeline JSON cuts, okay? The ones that we had saved earlier. Timeline 1, JSON 2, and JSON 8. Now that my cuts are applied, I can go ahead and preview those cuts if I'd like to. If editing has ever stopped you from hitting record, if there is some discrepancy, there might be like a half millisecond off or a half second too early or too late, the cuts, just know that that's just the way it's interoperating. Stitch is interoperating with your computer. When you render the final finished video, it will be sharp and precise, just like you would expect with TimeBolt. After I'm done previewing the files, I'll add any effects with such as turbo mode, because again, this is scripted video. I'm not adding turbo, but if it's unscripted, this is where you add them to each video segment, because you typically wouldn't add turbo to an intro or outro. I can add an outro video to my videos. You'll see that on this video, in fact. Got our outro, and what's really cool is if you remember with the chapters text files, the YouTube chapters, if I were to put an intro or outro or add, you know, a teaser, coming up teaser, it doesn't matter where it happens. All of the math is going to work out when it combines all of the YouTube markers. It will reflect their actual coordinate position inside this lineup. So at this stage, I would just simply go export video. First thing you want to do is download your chapters text file. Those are your YouTube chapters, right? I'm going to go put this at 4K. And the frame rate is 30 frames per second because it already matches the longest file in Stitch. So it's 30 frames per second, but you can change it here, okay? And simply hit export video. For brand videos that go on YouTube to help with SEO, I use unmatched to generate the SRT file, which is gonna work wonders with your captions. It's the most accurate captions money can buy. I add the newly exported video to TimeBolt. There shouldn't be any cuts. I'm gonna run unmatched, start audio transcription. You see a browser window pops up, it says, hope you love unmatched, and then after it runs, here's where you're gonna have a downloadable SRT file. Just simply download. Now I can edit this, it's an editable SRT file. I open up my text edit app and I can do things like, I know TimeBolt is spelled with a time space bolt. I wanna replace all with TimeBolt spelled properly. There's TimeBolt spelled properly, replace all, and it's saved. So now you have accurate SRT files to upload for captions on YouTube. If you're still watching, you've made it this far, you already know you're gonna go out and make some fantastic video like GPS. You don't need AI to get the base stuff done, to get to watchable video. You just need better cuts. So stop guessing, start cutting, go download it. You'll never go back. And again, this video was made entirely in TimeBolt. If you record for work or YouTube and you're not editing with TimeBolt, you're going 2 to 3 times longer than you have to. And I'm out of time.